Hey Mama, welcome to the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I am Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5, and I want to help you to find positive thoughts during pregnancy because this can be such a hard season of life and it can be really hard to find positive thoughts, but it does make a difference. I know because I have tried thinking positive thoughts versus not thinking positive thoughts during pregnancy, and it does make a difference. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Thanks for joining. Okay, today's topic comes to you from someone in my Facebook group. So I have a Facebook group called Pregnancy is Hard. And this was one of the things that came up as something that was hard for one of you is thinking about labor or worrying about labor. And worry tends to be more of a negative emotion. It causes stress and anxiety, and overall is just not good to worry or over worry too much. So today I wanted to actually do an episode on that. If you have any other any worries, any stresses, anything that bothers you, I encourage you to go to that Facebook group and share it, and I will help, or other women in that group will help, and let's get through this better. So there was also another concern or annoyance of heartburn. So I might do an episode on heartburn in pregnancy in an upcoming episode, and I will give a heartburn tip that helped me at the end of this episode. But this episode's not about heartburn. It's about dealing with worry about what labor is going to be like. So I have kind of had a baby all the ways. I've had a C-section, I've had an epidural with being induced, I've had my own contractions and still ended up with an epidural, and then I've had 2 all-natural unmedicated births. And so I have kind of tried laboring all the ways. The one thing that really helped me when I was concerned about it, especially when I was a little worried about it, thinking with my first, was about all the women who had done this before. If all of the women throughout history, around me, throughout the world, have been able to do this, it is possible. It can happen. And to me, that was just like, if they can, I can type of thing. And sometimes those competitive thoughts can help some of us when we feel a little bit worried. If they can, I can type of thing. In the time that we live in, there are so many options now. In fact, you can go into labor and pretty much not have to feel a lot of pain. They have C-sections. You don't even have to have a contraction. They have inductions, epidurals that help. There's a lot of other pain options, nitrous oxide being one, that can help you when through the labor. Like, there are just so many options. If you are very concerned about what the pain of a contraction will feel like, there's a lot of options to help with the pain if that's what you're concerned about. The pain that can come with contractions is definitely a real thing, but I would also encourage you to do your research. Is a C-section a good option for you and for baby? There actually are a lot of benefits that come for babies that are born vaginally. Now, I know that all women are not able to do that, but I think in most cases it is possible. And like I say, do your research. For me, I have over time done my research and found out what is good and what I feel is most best for my body and my baby. And that has been to go more towards a natural birth. My first one was the C-section, and then from there I just kind of shifted into all the research I've done, all the reading I've done, and felt that natural was best for my body and my baby's body. And I did find that I healed faster. So that is all things to think about when it comes to going in labor, but also knowing that there are options. And it's not like the C-section option is bad. For some people, it's great. It's great to get baby here with healthy mom and baby. You just need to figure out which one is best. And my opinion is to do your research and see what feels best for you. Sorry about that timer in the background. I was cooking some granola and it got done. The other thing I want to talk about for a second is I want to talk to the moms who are first-time moms and kind of share what a contraction feels like. I did not feel a real contraction of my own until my third baby, because my first baby was an emergency C-section. He came 9 weeks early. My second baby, I was induced, and my third baby, I finally felt those normal contractions. I can tell you that an induction contraction is, in my experience, way more powerful and intense and painful than a contraction that my own body produced. That has been my experience. But a contraction, more or less, is basically like menstrual cramps on steroids. So if you can imagine a menstrual cramp and then just imagine it getting worse and tighter and tighter and tighter, and just very tightening like that. So when it comes to feeling those contractions, it's hard when it's your first time because you just don't know what it feels like. But that helped me when I finally knew what it felt like and was able to voice that to other women as well. If this is like your second baby and you know what contractions feel like and you know how painful they can be, you can use the following tips and techniques that I'm going to give you to help you get through it. Now, contractions can be painful. They can hurt fairly bad, especially as you start to open up and get dilated more to like even the 8s and the 10s get even more intense. And I know in the natural birthing word, they don't like, in the natural birthing world, if I can pronounce my words, they do not like to refer to your contractions as painful. And I can see the logistics of that, but I also feel like if women don't know what it's like, they're going to go with this higher expectation and then realize that, wow, this is way more painful than I thought, and then it's going to be more difficult. So I feel like if you set yourself up to know that it's going to hurt, that it's not going to be just intense, that it can also be pain, mentally that has helped me. So when you feel the contractions, though, the nice thing about the contractions is they only last about a minute to begin with. Towards the end, there might be a couple longer ones, but it's only about a minute. And to me, that timing, it's happened for both babies, was like right on, and it helped me to breathe through them because I was like, I can do anything for a minute, and the breath was vital. I have talked about her before, but if you want help to stay calm and to breathe through your contractions, even if you decide to get an epidural, I encourage you to listen to Bridget Tyler's breathing YouTube video. It helped me tremendously with my last one. My fourth baby, I did all natural, but it was very traumatic. My fifth baby was a lot more in control, and that's because of breathing. So part of why my fourth baby was kind of traumatic is I panicked. If you panic during labor, it's going to cause a lot of problems. Not only mentally, but it's just going to make everything harder for you and for everyone around you. So even though that pain feels really intense, if you can stay calm and not panic, even through the contraction, that's going to help you logically think of what to do. Maybe it's too much and you just do need the epidural. Or maybe you just really needed to breathe through that one. Or maybe you need some counter pressure on your back. But not panicking is going to help you have more success whether you choose medical intervention or not. Do your best not to panic, and the breathing techniques can really help with that. learn these coping techniques, listen to music. That's something that helped me through the contractions, is I had music on and I would breathe and try and hum a little bit if I could during the labor. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about what labor is like and how to deal with it, thoughts to think about it, research to do regarding it, I want to talk to you who are not in labor. I imagine if you are listening to this episode, most of you are not currently in labor, but you're worrying about what it might be like to be in labor, or you're worrying about how this labor might be different from your other ones, or so on and so forth. If you've done your research, you feel like you know what you want, but you're just sitting there worrying, this is what I'm going to encourage you to do. I just mentioned those two things, but I'm going to mention them again. If you've done your research, so you might need to do research on breathing techniques, on coping techniques during labor, that you can start learning and practicing. So if you've done that, I'm having a hard time talking. If you have done that, I want you to distract yourself. Get your mind off that worry, because that worry is not going to help you. In fact, it'll probably lead you down a rat hole of thinking of all the things that could go wrong. And as we dwell on all the things that could go wrong, it is easier for those things to go wrong. So instead, we want to shift our mind, and I like to call it the art of distraction. Distract yourself with something else. Pick up some type of handiwork. I had not done a lot of handiwork prior to pregnancy, but this last 5th pregnancy, I picked up crocheting. I also learned to embroider, and I just tried to distract my mind with handiwork so that I wouldn't dwell on negativity, so that I wouldn't fill my mind with worry, fear, and doubt. So I encourage you to pick something up if you have just unnecessary and unneeded worry. Distract yourself with something. Preferably not social media or the internet, but some type of handiwork that like your grandma used to do, like knitting, crocheting, embroidery, lace making, sewing, anything like that, to help your mind be distracted and learning and working on something instead of on that worry. Mama, if you need help to stay positive during this time or to distract yourself, I have a whole video course. It's entitled the Morning Sickness Mini Course, but it actually is a course for pregnancy. I might rename it. I don't know. It's been renamed 3 or 4 times. I haven't felt the ideal name for it yet. But this course can help you to find positivity. It can help you distract you when you feel that worry and overwhelm taking over. It is the top link in the show notes, and it can help you get out of that mental misery during pregnancy. They are videos that I myself have written, filmed, and made, and I also have audios that you can download. So it's pretty powerful. I used it for my 5th pregnancy and part of my 4th pregnancy, and I also filmed some of them during my 4th pregnancy, actually. And then after that 4th pregnancy, I knew more of what I needed, so I filmed the rest of them. But nonetheless, I have put my heart and my soul into this. And it is simple, it is cheap, it is a little bit of an investment, but a little bit of investment for positive mental health during this season of life will bless you, and it will bless your family. I did mention that I was going to give a quick heartburn blurb, so if you are struggling with heartburn, sleeping slightly upright actually helped me quite a bit when I had a lot of that heartburn. So give that a try and do your best not to worry about labor with the tips in this episode. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out? I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.